Hi everyone, good evening. I am very excited to spend this evening with you, ladies and gentlemen of the Missionary Families of Christ. It is an honor for me to be addressing this community. I remember being in MFC events when I was just starting out at Halo 3 years ago. Now, 3 years later of my being the head of Halo app in the Philippines, it's very much more exciting to be here with you, sharing the stories and the insights of the things that I have learned in my past 3 years leading a global Catholic startup in the Philippines. So as mentioned earlier, a little bit of a story. Do you want to hear a story? Okay. So I see good friends here. Hello, good to see you all. Some of our full-time missionaries, some of our friends from MFC Youth and Singles. As mentioned earlier, I used to be an anti-Catholic Protestant. No? Have you met a Protestant in your life? Someone who would ask you, oh, bakit kayo nagdadasal sa mga santo? Why are you worshiping the saints? No, why do you have Mary? It's only supposed to be Jesus alone. Only Jesus, always Jesus, only Jesus. No? So I was part of that wing of Christianity, and I told my mom to burn the statues of the saints. So whenever I look back, I kind of feel so cringy at that, audacity I had when I was younger. I was so sure, but I was so wrong. Isn't it that we can be very sure of something and that we'll end up being so wrong? My dear brothers and sisters, that was a hard lesson in humility that I found it difficult to swallow. No, so I was a Protestant for around 4 years. I dreamt of nothing else but to become a pastor. I was bent that after graduating from college, I would go into a Protestant seminary and I will do church planting. You know how Protestants will start churches in one place and then go to another. But then God, as they say, has higher plans than our plans, and He led me back to the Catholic faith. And now, dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to share with you a little bit broader than social media. I want to share about digital missions. No? It will still capture some principles we can apply on social media, but I will also give insights on technology as a whole. Are you ready? All right. So, if you want to see other content that I have done online, so again, I was a Protestant for a while, and then when I became a Catholic, I started being invited to talks like this. And one of the most memorable talks, not a talk, but actually a YouTube content, was this 22-minute video I had with the channel called Recreate. No, so they paired me with an atheist whom I have never met yet in my entire life, and asked to have a conversation about difficult topics on the faith. Now, why am I showing this? Because early this morning, so Lucy, this video was taken when I was way younger, 2019. And then, apparently, the YouTube channel that posted this put it back up on TikTok, and it became viral again around this week. And probably, if you are interested in knowing more about our work on evangelization, you can search on YouTube, Burns Kasi Catholic Atheist Dialogue. So, and here's a trivia. The one you will see on YouTube is a 22-minute version of a 2.5-hour interview that I have done. And I want to make this as a jump-off point of the importance of social media evangelization. Okay? Are you with your phones now? You are? I want you to take a look at your phones at this moment. Go to YouTube if you have internet access. Okay? Go to YouTube and type in Recreate and then my name. Recreate Burns Kasi Catholic Atheist. Okay? Why am I doing this? Because I want to demonstrate the power that social media or the digital media has on evangelization. Did you see the video? Okay, are you able to see it? Some of you are now seeing it. Don't play it yet, no? Just put there, recreate a Catholic atheist. No, if you've seen it, probably you will also see my YouTube channel, which I will talk about later. I want you to bookmark that video, and later after the talk, if you have 5 to 10 to 15 minutes to spare, I want you to take a look at the comment section of this video. And you will notice, dear brothers and sisters, something. Ask me what? Ay, parang mahina. Hindi nag-dinner. Again, ask me what? Ladies and gentlemen, young people are searching and they are hungry for the truth. I'll repeat that. Young people are searching and they are hungry for the truth. What made me say that? You know, you will see there a sampling of around, I think, more than 100 comments. Tama ba? Are you able to see the video? Who has seen the video? Can you raise your hand? I just want to know. Kuya, how many comments do you see in the comment section? Around how many? 7,000. And these, dear ladies and gentlemen, are mostly young people who have different stories. You will see a comment from someone who would say, oh, you know what? I used to be a Catholic, but not anymore. Oh, you know what? I'm an atheist, and I support atheism. I don't even know why I should give Catholicism a chance. For those 7,000 people who commented there, I dare say, you will pick up something that will inspire you and challenge you in our work as missionary families of Christ. You will see a generation of people who are looking for meaning. And these are young people. That's why I wanted to make this as a jump-off point. Second observation. Second observation. Are you ready for this? Okay. Ask me what? I realized that when I had this interview, I came prepared. You know, I brought a backpack full of books on Catholic apologetics, philosophy, etc. But when I started dialoguing with this atheist, I used none of them. None. What I used was just to ask this atheist, please pray for her. I just asked her questions. And lo and behold, if you will watch the 22-minute video later after the session, when you're probably driving home, commuting, before you fall asleep, watch it. You will notice that there was no bickering. There was no debate between the two of us. It was just dialogue. Can we all say that word? And what is the importance of that? My dear friends, I learned that if we treat people with respect online, you will see that the conversations it will generate will also be respectful. How many comments does that video have? 7,000. I want you to check later and see how many of those 7,000 are positive comments and how many of those are negative comments. You'll be surprised. This video, as far as I could remember, viewing it a few months back, is one of the most peaceful places in YouTube, where people are just sharing ideas with one another. So this was a project I have done in 2019, way before I started podcasting, and all the way more before I started leading Hallow Up in the Philippines. So as mentioned earlier, I also have a YouTube channel. You can also check this. It's called Unboxing Catholicism. My last upload was 3 months ago. Forgive me, I've been a little bit busy with my master's program and my work, but please pray that I get to upload new videos for this YouTube channel. Because the mission of this channel, ladies and gentlemen, is to help people defend the faith clearly without being preachy. Isn't it that it's difficult for us to talk about religion because we are afraid that our friends may think, number one, we feel like we're holier than thou. Number two, we may come off as judgmental. Number three, we cannot discuss the faith because we don't know what to say. Can you relate with that? You know, you have a friend, they will start talking about Catholic faith and its differences with other religions, and you just find yourself, actually, I don't know. At the end of the day, they're all the same. No, so we can default to that. And the mission of Unboxing Catholicism is to really help us learn how to defend the faith clearly in a way that's charitable. And then as mentioned, I also work with the Hallow app. Can I have a show of hands who here has heard of the Hallow app? There you go, a handful of people. Sino po dito yung first time pa lang? No? Who here is a first timer in terms of hearing about Hallow app? Okay, wag po kayong mahiya, don't worry, all right? Some people are first timer. You know, whenever people ask me, what do you do at Hallow? I tell them jokingly, but this is half true, I work with Jesus. All of us in MFC are working with Jesus. And in the Hallow app, I also work with the one who played Jesus in The Chosen, because he's the one voicing a lot of the prayers in our app. And he is really very, very good as a voice actor. Now, if it is your first time hearing about Hallow, I would love to play a short video that would more or less give you an idea what the app is all about. No? So let's watch this video. I hope it plays. All right, so that's what Hallow app is. From the start of your day to your midday up until the evening, you have a prayer companion. And at the end of this talk, I would love to give everyone a very special gift. No? So abangan nyo po yan. Sa dulo, Hallow Philippines has a gift for you. I have a gift for you. And I want to report to those people, because I told you earlier, around the first time when I started giving talks at MFC, a little more than 3 years ago. Tama ba, Donna? No? 3 years ago pa yung mga first talks natin. Sila Andy, I was with them. Sila Kuya EJ, Kuya Dylan. Bago pa lang ako sa Hallow noon. When I started noon, we only had 400,000 downloads of Hallow app in the Philippines. No? Right now, worldwide, we already have 20 plus million and 900 million prayers completed using the app. And as we speak today, we now have 2.6 million downloads in the Philippines. So praise the Lord. Palakpakan po natin ang Panginoon. And now we are actually expanding our Tagalog and Cebuano markets. Now, a little bit of what I do at Hallow, because this is also part of social media evangelization or digital missions. Basically, when I was hired, I was tasked to build the library of Tagalog Filipino prayers in the app. And then later on, my role at Hallow has evolved into something more managerial. And now, I really literally handle all the functions of the company in the Philippines, from marketing, hiring, finance, etc. But one thing that is very, very clear is the mission of Hallow. The ministry of Hallow is very simple, and it's still very scary. No, bakit scary? Why muna simple? So what is the mission of Hallow? Can you ask me what? To help people pray. To help everyone pray and find peace in God. And you know what makes it scary? One day I was tasked to do a push notification. I don't know if you're familiar, di ba sa phone ninyo, you hear, sometimes you're cooking, sometimes you are watching TV, or sometimes you're praying the rosary, and then biglang tutunog, Shopee! You know that? No? Have you experienced that? That's what you call a push notification. Can you say that out loud? Right. In the early days of Hallow, there was one person who wrote to us. She was about to take her life. No? She was so depressed, she didn't know where to go, and there was only one solution she had. And the solution was to end it all. And then suddenly, her phone rang. There was a push notification from the Hallow app. And it said, let us pray. She pushed the notification. That's why it's called push. It means two things, no? We push that notifications on your phone, and you also tap it. It's like you're pushing your screen. And when she tapped the push notification, it started an audio session of Jonathan Rumi praying the Surrender Novena. that goes like this: Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. That lady dropped everything and surrendered her life to the Lord. And she wrote us a long letter telling us, if not because of the app, I would have been gone already. And so when I was very new in the company, they gave me an assignment. Burns, please schedule a push notification for the Filipinos to try the Angelus in Filipino. So when do we pray the Angelus? 12 p.m., no? And so I did a push notification at the back end, and then when I clicked a button in our system, instantly 400,000 phones in the Philippines received that notification to pray the Angelus. And that made me think, my gosh, Lord, how great is our God? Isn't it? We sang that earlier, right? That was our song. How great is our God that He gave us this opportunity to use technology to reach hundreds of thousands of people instantly. That's why I said it's scary. Now that there are 2 million Filipinos who use Halo app, whatever I press on that laptop will end up in 2 million phones of Filipinos here in the Philippines. But it made me reflect, ladies and gentlemen, we now have at our disposal, right on your hands, the capacity to do what St. Paul couldn't do. I'm not saying we're better than St. Paul, but he did not do something that we can do today. Ask me what? To post something on Facebook. To tweet. Wala lang ang Twitter, no? St. Paul never had that. In fact, if you will study scripture history, you will notice that the epistles to the Ephesians, Corinthians, all of this took months or even years before it reached the destinations to which St. Paul intended these letters to be read. Pero ngayon, guys, no? Just with the tap of your fingers on your phone, you can reach the MFC community in New Zealand. You can reach the MFC community in Canada, even in Europe. That's the power that social media has. And that's the power that I want us all to unbox this evening. No, so I'm going to skip some slides here. And if you are interested to watch my full conversion story, where I gave other details of how I became a Catholic, you can just go to unboxingcatholicism.com/story, and you will see a 22-minute version of my conversion story and a free guide on apologetics that you can download. So when I became a Catholic, my dear friends, my question was this. Can we all read this together? I thought we didn't need to evangelize. Ask me why. I was not part of a community when I became a Catholic. No, I was just like a floating Catholic at that time. And I thought, okay, I can just be an independent Christian. I'll go to Mass, after Mass, I'll go home, and that's it. No? But I did not know that the Catholic Church actually teaches that all of us must be MFC. Missionary Families for Christ. Sabi sa atin ni Pope Paul VI, my dear friends, no? Can we read this all together? So kailangan po pala natin mag-evangelize. Evangelization is our identity. That if we are not doing to share the faith, we are not fulfilling our deepest mission and vocation as a Catholic, as MFC. Another thing that I learned when I started studying about evangelization, let's read this together. So in Redemptoris Missio, the late Pope, our favorite saint, John Paul II said, it's our supreme duty. So we have this sacred responsibility, and may he rest in peace. No, Pope Francis also said, every Christian must be actively engaged in evangelization. And so, here's another story that led me to do something for evangelization. Do you want to hear another story? Do you want to hear another story? I was a new Catholic and I was very complacent. I thought I should not do anything special because when I was a Protestant, I will go house to house. You know those Protestants who knock on your door? So I would do that before. I would knock on the door and then I will ask, knock knock, Donna, may tatanong ako sa iyo, Donna. Kung ikaw ba ay mamamatay ngayon, saan ka pupunta? Sa langit o sa impyerno? No? So that's how I did it before. And then if I see someone in the food court, fast food, or in the bus, and it seems like this person is alone, I will talk to this person and I will say, brother, can I talk to you for just 5 minutes? I just wanted to share the gospel and bring the good news of Jesus Christ. Okay lang po ba?
Yes.
Brother, sige po, pagpipray ko po kayo. Nabasa niyo na po ba, brother, itong Romans chapter 6 verse 23?
Hindi.
So, ganun po ginagawa ko noon, no? That's how I did it. As a Protestant, I would go house to house, person to person. Now that as a Catholic, I told myself, do I need to go to the houses and ask, no, Andy, na-confession ka na ba? No? Dylan, did you go to adoration today? No, ganun ba gagawin ko as a Catholic? So sabi ko, baka hindi naman. Wala naman ako nakikitang Catholics na gumagawa niyan. Until one afternoon, isang hapon, kailan? One afternoon, isang hapon, I was just there lying on the couch and I was listening to a podcast called Catholic Answers Live. There was a Protestant who phoned in a question about the faith. The Catholic host answered. And then the Catholic host asked, by the way, I forgot to ask you this. You are calling a Catholic radio program even if you are not a Catholic. I'm just curious, why are you not a Catholic? Makes sense, right? You know, the answer of the Protestant blew me away and I would never ever forget that. Ask me what? The Protestant said, you know, I'm not a Catholic because I was never invited to be one. Boom! I was not a Catholic because I was never invited to be one. Grabe yung kilabot ko, ladies and gentlemen. No, napatayo ako sa couch. Sabi ko, Lord, now, anong gagawin ko? Here I am, Lord. Send me. I was a Protestant and here I am, just enjoying my time as a Catholic, receiving Jesus in the Eucharist, adoring the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, and yet I am not sharing the greatest gift that I have ever received. Woe to me, Lord, here I am, send me. And so in the next few months, dear brothers and sisters, I made sure that I can answer this question, how do I evangelize effectively? And so I started reading books. I started watching videos. I started listening to podcasts. I started enrolling to online courses, interviewing people from different communities, and that's when I realized that there are a lot of resources in the Catholic world that will equip each and every one of us to fulfill that deepest desire of our Lord for all of us to go out there to preach the word and make disciples of all nations. And there, as I have studied, my dear friends, I have realized that there are 3 basic things that all evangelists had and that enabled them to become great evangelizers. How many? 3 things. And that's what I will share with you. Number 1, solid, regular formation in doctrine. Number 2, practical skills in dialogue. Number 3, a life of prayer and deepening discernment. No? So those are the 3 basic. It's non-exhaustive. I'm not saying I'm telling you everything we should know now. I started with these 3. And I think I will work on this 3 for the rest of my life. Doctrine. Don't you notice they're all 3 Ds, no? We cannot give what we do not have, my dear brothers and sisters. So, I am exhorting all of us, including myself, before we go into online evangelization, let's try to have solid, regular formation in the Catholic doctrine. And you know why? You're blessed. Ask me why. You're part of a community. The community allows you to have these 3 Ds as part of your lifetime formation. So, doctrine, ano? what does the church teach about the communion of saints? What does the church teach about marriage? No, you have that even in your CLP. You call that the CLP, no? The CLS or the CLS, CLP, sa feast ang tawag nila dyan, love someone today. In other words, you have these onboarding activities that allow people to be part of the community, and that is doctrinal. This is important in the work of evangelization. Now, next is dialogue. Very important, my dear brothers and sisters. Okay, someone might have a solid formation in doctrine. He knows a lot about the Bible. He knows a lot about the catechism, but he doesn't know how to talk about them. No, so that's another story altogether. If we have time later, probably I'll give you tips on how to talk about the faith even if you don't know a lot of Bible verses. No? So I can do that for you. And then life of prayer and deepening discernment. You know what is important here in the deepening of discernment is to be part of your small groups. I believe you have households in the community, and this is the best way for us to grow in our spirit of discernment. And so when I became a Catholic, I realized, okay, I need these three things. How do I now start sharing the faith? You know how I started? I started writing articles. No, I started with a blog. I told myself, wala namang magbabasa nito. No, I'll just write it. So I wrote an article called Why I Asked Mom to Burn the Statues of the Saints and the Three Things I Realized. No, I wrote it without any expectation of people finding it. It was just in a website that you cannot access anymore today. I have to revive that website. But then, here's the thing, dear brothers and sisters. When I posted that article, days after that, I received a message. Let's read this all together. I don't know kung nababasa nyo. Sabi niya, I am a Roman Catholic in doubt and searching for something. I just read your article and I guess I found the light by accident. Wow! Accident daw, no? Sabi nung isa, I like your explanations about our images. Thanks for the enlightenment. Another person whom I didn't know said, your blog moved me to tears. You're indeed... And then he started telling me other things. Why am I showing this? I want you to realize that before I posted this article, there was a lot of doubt. Can we all say the word doubt? Pagdududa. I didn't want to share my faith because I thought no one needs to hear about it. I didn't want to write an article for the faith because I thought it wouldn't help anyone. And yet, when I started doing it, the Lord brought it to the people who needed it the most. So my encouragement for you, dear brothers and sisters, if you are seated here at this very moment, and the Lord has been telling you, why don't you start something? Do something for social media evangelization. Reach out to your neighbor. Talk to that friend to that friend or relative you haven't met in a long time. Ask him or her how she's doing. Invite him to the CLS. Or just simply share your faith. Share what you have learned from the household. If you are shy to do that, the Lord is telling you now, do not doubt. Do not fear. There is a wide mission field that's waiting for you. And that is the digital space that we are in now. But here, now to continue the story, I had a brand dilemma. Okay, what does this mean? Around that time, I think this was almost 10 years ago, I didn't know if I should do an online content about the faith or should I do an online content about business. At that time, I was a businessman. I was a financial consultant. I was selling insurance, investments. I still do that, by the way, now if you need to consult about that. But kidding aside, no, I don't want to digress. I had a brand dilemma. Lord, do you want me to talk about the faith or do you want me to talk about finance? No, so I had that question. Until I met a guy, some of you in the community may know him. His name is Kirby. He became a very close friend. Actually, I met his wife first, no? And then the wife brought me to this gathering of Catholic content creators and businessmen. And then he became my mentor. And he told me a very, very important strategy in content creation that I want to share with you. So, if you are also like me at that point, you're confused, you don't know what to start, you don't know if you are being called by God to be a content creator, either a vlogger, a blogger, writing articles, or a podcaster, this framework that I'm going to share with you helped me a lot. So, first things first, my mentor told me, you have to pray for clarity. How do we do this? Ask, what is that deepest desire that your heart has? Or put it differently, what is your story? So my mentor asked me, Burns, if you are confused on what type of online content you're supposed to do, ask yourself, what is your story? What was my story? I was a Protestant who became a Catholic. So, okay, what do I do now with the story? I asked my mentor. He asked me, what is that problem in the society that your story can provide some solutions for? Is this making sense? No? First, ask, ano ba yung story ako? What can I share on social media? What can I share on Facebook, TikTok, or what have you? And how can this sharing bless the world? So I told my mentor, I think my story as a convert is I used to be confused about the faith. I didn't know how to understand Catholicism. But thanks be to God, He led me to some people who were able to explain to me the truths of the faith. And then my mentor said, that's your story. Don't you think that there are millions of other people who are in the same situation, who are also confused about the faith, who doesn't know how to explain the faith or defend it? I said, yes. Now, what's the next step? Now I'm clear, right? I know my story. I know the problem that my story can possibly solve. Of course, at the end of the day, it's grace, no? Not my story per se, but the grace of God using the story. The next thing that I discerned was this: content. What does this mean? Ano yung gagawin ko, kuya? Sabi ko doon sa mentor ko. Do I start blogging, writing? No? Sabi niya, alam mo, kapag nagsulat ka, okay yan. You'll develop your writing skills. But not all Filipinos are into reading. Tama po ba yun? No, not all Filipinos are into reading. So, he asked me, why don't you do a podcast? No? Can you say that? Podcast. During this time, it was 2018. Maraming nagpa-podcast, but it was before pandemic. And I felt like, what do I talk about in the podcast? No, I don't know how to do a podcast. I was not that techy at that time. I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know how to sustain a podcast. You know what he told me? Ask me what? Simple lang. You only need 3 things. 3 na naman. Ano kaya yun? Number 1, your cell phone. Number 2, your earphones. Number 3, your Wi-Fi. Yun lang. At that time, it was very easy to start a podcast. There was an app called Anchor. Wala na po yun ngayon, but if you want to start a podcast, probably we can talk about that later. We can do another way to do that, no? So, during that time, there's this app called Anchor. Sasaksak ko lang yung earphones ko, magsasalita lang ako, podcast na, no? Sabi ko sa mentor ko, what do I talk about? Just stick with your story. And tell the people your origin story. Can you repeat that? Origin story. Mahalaga po yan, mga kaibigan, kasi magkakaiba po tayo ng storya. My story is different from your story, but your story is equally powerful to the people you know. So please remember, each of you here in MFC, you have a story to share. You want me to give you something you can start right away after this talk? You can build your online content? Ask me what? Make an audio recording or a video recording of you sharing how you became part of MFC. That is a wonderful story. That can be a podcast. That can be a vlog. That can be an article. So that's what I did. In fact, if you go to Spotify today, now search Unboxing Catholicism, go to the very first episode. That was the first episode I recorded without any script. Walang script yun, mga kapatid. Umupo lang ako, sabi ko, hi guys, I'm Burns. I'm doing a podcast. No, I'm not sure what to talk about, but here I am. No, you can still listen to that. And then sabi sa akin ng mentor ko, after you have built your content, build a community. So we'll go through this one by one. Ano? So, clarity. I know the story already, and then we thought of a title for the podcast. A title na naisip po namin is Unboxing Catholicism. You know why? Ask me why. During the pandemic, we had a lot of deliveries, right? And we were so excited opening the packages from Amazon, from Shopee, from Lazada. And I was like, you know, the best package that we have ever received in life is the Catholic faith. Signed, sealed, and delivered by God, safeguarded by the apostles in the past 2,000 years. And if there is something we should be excited unboxing, and that is the faith. So I thought, why not? Let's unbox Catholicism. So ayan na, malinaw na. Ano ang problem? Defending the faith clearly without being preachy. Because I talk to my friends, I ask them, bro, ano yung problema mo when it comes to talking about the faith? Pare kasi, I don't want to talk about the faith kasi my friends will think na ang yabang ko eh. Bakit mayabang? Eh kasi nagiging palaban ako pagka nagsasalita ako tungkol sa faith eh. Bakit ka nagiging palaban? Nakakairita kasi. Diba? So I saw a problem that a lot of people do not know how to talk about the faith peacefully. And so that's the niche. Can you say that word? Niche. N-I-C-H-E. So if you are a married person, probably your niche would be in talking about married life. If you are a person who's struggling with a particular emotional distress, probably the Lord wants you to turn that misery into ministry. If you are a person who's struggling with a certain heartbreak, sino heartbroken? Tignan nyo nga yung katabi nyo mo, mukha po bang heartbroken yan? Ano? The Lord might be inviting you to turn that heartbreak into a breakthrough. So there are a lot of ways for us to turn our stories into a content. So content, ito na nga, no, I said, I started my podcast in March 24, 2020 without any script, any plan. On the 5th episode or 10th episode, something happened that discouraged me. Ask me what? I thought of quitting. Sabi ko, wala na to, ayoko nang mag-podcast. Napapagod ako eh, I get so tired. I don't know what to talk about anymore and probably no one is listening. So I started checking the analytics. How many listened to the first episode? 3. That might be my mentor, my mom, and my friends. No? Second episode, fine, 5. 10 episodes, siguro mga 8. And then I told my mentor, bro, probably podcasting is not for me because I'm not getting enough engagement. I mean, I don't even know if I'm helping people. He told me one thing I would never forget, and I want to share that with you. You know, Burns, he said, digital evangelization or content creation is like flying an airplane. What does that mean? Sabi ko, ano ibig sabihin? Let's say you are a pilot. Your airplane can hold up to 120 passengers, and yet you only have 10. Will you crash the aircraft because you only have 10 passengers? I said, no, of course not. These 10 passengers deserve to be where they want, to be in their destination. And he told me this, those 10 people who listen to your podcast deserve to know how to properly defend the faith clearly without being preachy. Don't you dare leave them hanging without you continuing the podcast. And that's the story. I continued the podcast, and this time I did something different. I gave out my email address in the podcast, and I started telling people, you know, if you have more questions about the faith, if you want to know more about Catholicism, why don't you reach out? And let's have a conversation. You know what happened after that? A lot of people started emailing me. I was surprised. One guy from Saudi Arabia said, brother, I have listened to your episodes since you started in March 24, 2020. I am now on episode 10. I'm waiting for episode 11. But here's the thing, brother, he said, I am now attending a born-again church, but because of the podcast, I am now preparing to go back. Amazing, right? I mean, I did not even think it can have that impact. And then, I told my mentor about this, and he told me, okay, I'm giving you another challenge. No, so the tip here is you have to have a mentor within your community. No, I was not even part of a community at that time. By the the way, for those who are wondering, I'm part of a community called Opus Dei. I don't know if you're familiar with that. In Opus Dei, we don't have a lot of content creators. So, ang mga friends ko na content creators, nasa MFC, nasa The Feast, no? Ligaya ng Panginoon. So, it's important to have mentors. And so, my mentor told me, bakit hindi ka ngayon mag-Facebook Live? Ha? Facebook Live? Anong gagawin ko sa Facebook Live? Eh, ganun ulit. Mag-Q&A ka. And so, my dear friends, masunurin po tayo. Sumunod ako. Sabi ko sa kanya, sige, mag-Facebook Live ako for 15 minutes. Ilang minuto? 1:5. So, umupo po ako sa harap ng camera. Tignan nyo naman po yung setup ko noon. Talagang do it yourself. Malabo po yung itsura kasi webcam lang na luma. It's an old webcam. That was April 21, a month after I started the audio version, I shifted to video. You can still find this on YouTube. It's funny. In the first part of the broadcast, I said, I will just talk for 15 minutes. If you have questions about the faith, feel free to comment. If you don't have questions, it's okay. We can meet again next week. No, I'm just here to try answering your questions. And then people started commenting. And I started sharing. I started sharing answers from the Bible and the Catechism. And then I didn't know a lot of people would tune in. Of course, at first my friends would be commenting. And then some people from different parts of the country and the world were also tuning in, sending me messages, and then asking me questions. And I was just answering. And you know what? When the broadcast ended, I didn't realize we were on the broadcast for 50 minutes. And then one guy was saying, "Brother, I can't wait for the next episode." Sabi ko, hala, wala akong plano to have a next episode. I didn't plan for a part 2, but here you are. The Lord has called, and I said, okay, Lord, ikaw na bahala. No? And then here's the thing. Something amazing happened, my dear brothers and sisters, when I shifted to video. There was one domestic helper from Kuwait who sent me a message. Her name is Carol. Sabi niya, Brother Burns, you know what? I've been looking for a program where I can send my questions about the faith and someone will answer in Tagalog. No? So I was speaking in Tagalog and English. Sabi niya, and I found Unboxing Catholicism and I really love it. You know, I've been praying about this. Can I support your ministry? Can you give me your bank account details? No, sabi ko, okay. Sige po. At that time when she messaged me, that was the time when I was doing my prayer and I said, Lord, how do you want me to push through with the ministry? The Lord told me in the prayer, gandahan mo naman yung lighting mo. No? Ayusin mo naman yung microphone mo, ayusin mo yung camera mo. So sabi ko kay Lord, sige, tignan natin sa Shopee. Ang budget niyan, 5,000 pesos. No? Basic light, basic microphone. So sabi ko, Lord, wala akong extra 5K, ikaw na bahala sa akin. You know this Ate Carol from Kuwait? She sent me money. Can you guess how much she sent me? 5,000 pesos. Amazing, right? Para bang, okay, the Lord is confirming, tama ito. So ano yung lesson sa atin, dear MFC brothers and sisters? Just say yes to the Lord. If the Lord calls you to do something online, do it. The Lord will provide. The Lord will not give you a mission you will never succeed at. No? So after this, dear friends, ito na. Nag-invest na ako. No, meron na tayong setup and the rest is history. The Unboxing Catholicism podcast evolved into a movement, into a group of volunteers, and then soon we found ourselves working together with Brother Bo Sanchez. He invited me to be part of his podcast network during the pandemic. And you know what? Yung hindi ako makapaniwala yung founder ng inspiration namin, the founder of Catholic Answers. Some of you may know Catholic Answers, si Carl Keating. He sent us an email. Sabi niya sa amin, I am releasing a new book. Can I guest on Unboxing Catholicism to promote it to the Philippine audience? I was really, really taken aback because I didn't know that simple podcast can evolve into a full-time ministry. And because of this podcast, dear brothers and sisters, I am also able to network with International Catholic Media Network. So I think 3 years ago or 2 years ago, Shalom World India. I know that there's a lot of MFC missionary families of Christ members in India. There is a big Catholic apostolate in India called Shalom World. They flew to the Philippines to feature my conversion story. And you know, when I was doing this interview with them, I can't believe that all of these were happening just because I was crazy in wanting to try podcasting. No? But I credit my mentor for all of these things because he was the one who pushed me to really be active in evangelization. And guess what? Because of my online content, that's also how I found my full-time work now. So as I've mentioned, I'm working at Hallow, the #1 Catholic prayer app, and I credit the online evangelization projects as part of this journey as well. So at this point in our conversation, if you have some questions, probably we can make this more interactive. You can ask questions on the specifics of how we can do better in online evangelization, or probably you might want to clarify certain things in my story. And just ask tips. If anyone has questions, I can take a short pause here. Or anyone wants to share something. Probably you're also working on something you need the community's opinion on. Okay, baka meron po kayong questions so that I am not the only one who's talking, no? Anyone who wants to share anything, a question or a doubt? Yes. Okay, so if not, I will share more things that will... there's a question. Okay. Because I don't want to share all of my slides. It will be very boring for everyone. So we can have something more interactive, Okay, if no questions yet, it's okay. What I can do is to give you another framework that I have learned in my journey. Is that something that you want me to do? Okay? Sige, but may questions po ba? Wala pa naman. Okay. So, as I've mentioned earlier, there are 3 things that we started doing in Unboxing Catholicism that ended up becoming successful for us. We did listen to my mentor's advice to really plan out how to succeed in this framework: clarity, content, and community. And then in the process, I learned another framework on how we can actually guide ourselves in terms of online evangelization or digital mission. So you can take a picture of this. I call this transformative evangelization or transformative apologetics. What does this mean? Actually, this is like the summary of everything I have learned in online digital ministry. First, very quickly, this position. If we're going to do digital missions, my dear brothers and sisters, we have to have this attitude or mindset that digital mission should be both high-tech and high-touch. What does this mean? When you do online evangelization, do not rely on digital tools alone. For example, if someone messages the MFC Facebook page, tao pa ho ba ang nagre-reply dyan or robot na or chatbot na? No? So, kailangan alam natin kung paano natin i-humanize yung experience. Another thing, when someone messages the MFC Facebook pages like Live Christ, Share Christ, meron bang naka-assign to make sure that people are attended to? Kapag may nagko-comment at mayroong nagme-message. Do we have a way to actually eventually lead someone who's commenting, who's not yet part of the community? Do we have a way para ma-lead siya to attend a CLS? So that's high-tech and high-touch. There is a human touch behind the high-tech digital tools that we are using. So how do we do this in Hallow? In Hallow app, if you open your Hallow app, you will see there hi plus your name. So hi Alfred. When you receive emails from Hallow, it has your name. We try as much we try as much as we could to personalize your experience because we don't want to feel this as somehow robotic. So that's the proper disposition for us when it comes to digital evangelization. Another thing that we need to keep in mind, my dear brothers and sisters, when we do online content, there will always be bashers. Can you say that word, bashers? So ano ibig sabihin yan? May mga mangkikriticize. So what do? Do we answer them back? Our policy in Hallow is do not reply to comments that are not productive. No, because it will not end. But do not also comment in a negative way. Because we have to understand that even if someone is saying a lot of negative things on our social media accounts, these people are souls. There is a soul behind the keyboard. There is a human being redeemed and loved by Jesus Christ for behind every nasty comment we see on Facebook. No? The next thing is online is never the summit. Meaning, hindi pa pwedeng lahat ng activities ng community ay nasa online. So again, wala na tayo sa pandemic, no? We have to return to communion with each other in person. Okay, next, doctrine. Now, I told everyone earlier na doctrine is important. Bakit mahalaga ang doktrina? Sabi sa atin ni San Jose Maria Escriva, ours should be the piety of children, but the sure doctrine of theologians. No? Kailangan po, we have the humility in evangelization, but at the same time, we need to know the answers to the deeper questions about the faith. Dialogue. How do you learn how to dialogue? Listen to the whole person. Learn to reframe positively and start asking the right questions. One practical example, I've met someone when I was a new Catholic, he didn't want to go to confession. Sabi ko sa kanya, Katoliko na ho to ha, bakit ayaw mo mag-confession? Biblical ang confession. Sabi sa John chapter 20, I started explaining confession. I assumed that this person thought confession was unbiblical, kaya ayaw niya mangumpisal. Alam niyo ang nangyari? Ask me what? When I finally asked, ba't kasi ayaw mo mangumpisal? Dati kasi nangumpisal na ako sa pare, pinagalitan lang ako eh. So alam niyo yun, tama yung sagot ko, biblical naman ang confession, hindi naman yun yung kailangan niya. So, in defending the faith, dear brothers and sisters, learn to ask the right questions. No? Next, devotion. If we want to succeed in online evangelization, I encourage you, find a mentor. A spiritual mentor and a mentor who will help you strategize on your online content. And, you know, this discernment also invites us to deepen our self-examination. I realize one big temptation when you do online content. Can you say the word temptation? What is this temptation? To think that you're better than everyone else. And that is a dangerous thought in ministry. That's why it's good for us to do self-examination. Discernment, my dear brothers and sisters. Next is devotion. Ano po yung devotion? Have a plan of life. No, some of us, we have our devotion. We go to Mass daily. No, you pray the rosary daily. Ipagpatuloy po natin ang mga yan. At mas lalo pa natin gawin ang mga yan when we start doing online content. Because we cannot give what we do not have. If we don't have a deep interior life, it will show. Magiging shallow po ang sharing natin sa social media. Sabi ni Saint Jose Maria Escriva, by the way, he's my favorite saint. Sabi niya, prayer is the foundation of the spiritual edifice. Prayer is all powerful. Kailangan po natin bigyang pansin ang ating buhay panalangin. And last but not the least, discipleship. How do we form disciples? Document our learnings. Yung mga tao na nasa home office, they have a lot of experiences in leading different apostolic projects. I encourage you, i-document po natin lahat, no? Document everything so that you can also mentor young people who will be the future of the community. And that's how we will leave a legacy. And now, dear brothers and sisters, I mentioned about prayer life, ano? And that is something that I really want us to pray for. I want us, one final thing I want to tell you before we go to this story is, I want to encourage you, after going to this talk, ask our Lord, Lord, ano po yung gusto ninyong gawin ko after listening to that talk? What is it that you want me to do? And help me to do it. And now I'll end my sharing with this story of John. John died. Yun ang start ng story. John died. Okay, pasimula pa lang patay na. And now, when John went to heaven, he was welcomed by his guardian angel. Okay? Don't look for this story in the Bible. This is completely made up. Okay, ginawa ko lang po ito, but this has a point. And I hope you won't miss the point. John met the guardian angel, and then they started walking in the towards the pearly gates of heaven. And the guardian angel said, you know, St. Peter is in a meeting right now, so I'll be the one to meet you first. No? You know, the first thing you need to do when you arrive at in heaven, you need to have your halo installed. You know the halo? You know? Why do you think he has a halo? Because he is holy. Probably he has a halo because when he was alive, he was using halo. No? I'm kidding. So, he was there. And then here's the thing. No? Who would have thought that in heaven, there is a room called Halo Installation Office. And they had to take a number, a cue card. Sabi ng guardian angel. By the way, everyone can understand Filipino? Yeah? Okay, some of you don't understand Filipino. It's okay, I can speak in English kahit nosebleed na ako. Okay, no? So, the guardian angel of John told him, John, you are number 7 in queue. Okay, I'll just go to the washroom. Biruin mo yun, may washroom sa heaven. So the angel left for a while to do something. John was left with the queue number 7. And then when he was walking along the corridors leading to the Halo installation office, he saw a room. No? What did he see? A room, and it had a window. The door had a window. He peered through the window and he noticed it's a dimly lit room with a lot of boxes. What did he see? Boxes. So he entered the door. He was curious. And then he was like, what's in this room? Anong meron here? No, so that was his question. Anong meron here? So you know, he lived in the south. Taga-south po itong si John nung buhay siya, no? So, the angel came back. The angel told him, John, stop! Don't enter the room. And then John was like, why? What's in this room? We're not supposed to enter that room. But what are these boxes for? And then something caught the attention of John. He went to one of those boxes and he saw a card with a picture that looked so familiar. You know what that picture was? It was his picture when he was a baby. And then there was a name. Beside the card, there's his picture and there's a name. It says, Juan de la Cruz. And then, he saw a bigger box. Palaki ng palaki. It gets bigger and bigger. All of those boxes had his name tags on it. And he started getting so confused because he would also see his pictures at different stages of his life. He couldn't contain his confusion and he finally asked the guardian angel, Guardian angel, what are these? Why do they have their name? Why do they have my names? The guardian angel, ladies and gentlemen, told him. And now the guardian angel was crying. No? So John was like, why are you crying? And the guardian angel said, John, those boxes that you are seeing now, these are the gifts that God had given you when you were alive and you did not give them the chance to be unboxed. Now I want us to reflect on this, dear brothers and sisters. Are you John? Can you look at your seatmate? Does he look like John or mukhang karton? Does he look like a box or John? Only one can be true. Now, kidding aside, is there something that the Lord has given us that we are too afraid to use for the ministry? Is there a story? Is there a message that the Lord wants you to share and you are doubting because you think you're not good enough? Probably tonight, that will be your resolution. Pray about it. Tell the Lord, Lord, here I am, send me. I am willing to become a digital missionary in MFC. Thanks be to God. And just as a final thing for everyone, I told you I want a gift, right? So, one of the greatest gifts that I can give you, of course, is the experience of praying together in the Hallow app. And I know a lot of you are familiar with the Hallow app already. It's like your companion in your daily prayer. If you're having trouble sleeping, you can use Hallow to fall asleep. If you don't know what to tell our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, you can use Hallow to pray. Hallow is free. You can go to the App Store, download the app, no? Sign up with your email, and when you see a subscription page, just click the X button. You will not be charged. You can use the Hallow app for free. But here's the thing. If you want to use the full version, I'm going to give you a gift. This is a 50% discount at the Hallow, which will enable you to unbox everything the app has to offer, and you're also able to support the global ministry of Hallow. Rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, that your subscription goes back to the church. We build parishes, we support priests, religious brothers and sisters, seminarians, and even our bishops. Lahat po ng content na nakikita ninyo sa app, they're well supported by Hallow. We give a lot of funding for those in different Catholic ministries all over the world. That's where your subscriptions or donations go. And we are very excited to pray with you. And again, I want to offer, please download the free ebook. When you go to unboxingcatholicism.com/story, I prepared the free book for you on how to defend the faith clearly without being preachy. And if you know someone, if you know a priest, a seminarian, a religious brother and sister, please help them claim their free lifetime subscription by going to hallow.com/epriest. And again, final message for everyone tonight. Everything is grace, everything is mercy. Be not afraid to be led by God because He is calling you by your name. I request you to pray for me. I'm still recovering from my fever, coughs, and colds, kaya medyo hirap ako magsalita. And I will offer up prayers for everyone in MFC. I love you all. God bless.